Superheroes are an iconic part of popular culture. From their incredible powers to their death-defying exploits, these characters have captured our imagination for generations. But what if we told you that some of these incredible abilities are based on real-world science? Today, we're diving into the science behind some of your favorite superheroes to see what they can teach us about the world around us. Let's start with one of the most famous superheroes of all time, Superman. He has superhuman strength, the ability to fly, and he's virtually indestructible. But how could these abilities be explained by science? The concept of flight is based on the principles of aerodynamics. To fly, you need to generate lift, which opposes the force of gravity. This can be done through a combination of wing shape and airspeed. But for Superman, flight is a little different. He's able to fly through the air without wings, and that's where the idea of anti-gravity comes in. But is it possible to generate anti-gravity in real life? Well, scientists have been exploring the idea of manipulating gravity for decades, but it's still a relatively unknown field. However, there have been some promising experiments with materials that seem to have a negative mass, meaning that they move in the opposite direction of the applied force. So, while we may not have the technology to fly like Superman just yet, the idea of anti-gravity is not as far-fetched as it might seem. Next up, we have Spider-Man, who is famous for his incredible agility and the ability to swing through the city on webs. But how does he do it? Spider-Man's webs are a great example of the science of tension. When he shoots his webs, he creates a line of tension between 2 points. This tension then becomes the force that propels him forward. And by adjusting the length and angle of his webs, he's able to control the speed and direction as he swings through the city. Let's dive deeper into the science behind Spider-Man's web-slinging abilities. When we look at the real-world physics of Spider-Man's web-slinging, we can see similarities to the science of pendulums. Just like a pendulum, the tension from the webs creates potential energy, which is stored energy that can be transformed into motion. As Spider-Man swings through the city, this potential energy is converted into kinetic energy, which is the energy of motion. However, there's one key difference between a pendulum and Spider-Man's web-slinging: control. With a pendulum, the direction and speed of the swing are determined by gravity and the length of the pendulum. But with Spider-Man, he's able to control the direction and speed of his swing by adjusting the angle and length of his webs. So, we can see that Spider-Man's web-slinging may seem like pure fiction, but it's actually rooted in real-world physics. By combining his imagination with basic scientific principles, Spider-Man is able to swing through the city and save the day. Lastly is Aquaman, who uses the principles of fluid dynamics to navigate and control his movements in water. Aquaman's unique abilities are rooted in the science of fluid dynamics and hydrodynamics. The fluidity of water allows him to swim and dive with incredible speed and agility, which is a key advantage in combat. By generating powerful currents and waves, he's able to knock down opponents or create barriers, making it more difficult for his enemies to get close to him. One of the key aspects of Aquaman's powers is his ability to control the temperature and pressure of the water. This allows them to perform amazing feats, such as creating geysers or freezing his enemies. The ability to control the temperature of the water is based on the principle of thermodynamics, which is the study of the relationship between heat and energy. Aquaman is able to manipulate this relationship to his advantage, using the energy stored in the water to create powerful bursts of heat or cold. Aquaman's mastery of the ocean is also due to his understanding of hydrodynamics, which is the study of the behavior of fluids in motion. By controlling the movement of water, Aquaman is able to generate currents and waves, and he can use these to propel himself through the water and knock down his enemies. And that's a wrap, folks. I hope you enjoyed exploring the science behind some of our favorite superheroes. From the abilities of Spider-Man to the powers of Superman, it's amazing to see how much of what we thought was fiction is actually rooted in science. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, keep using your imagination and keep asking the big questions.